Fairchild Semiconductor started using JDA about 10 years ago. I wasn't with the company at that time, but I do know it was a fairly newly formed company, a spun off from National Semiconductor, and so it was looking for system planning infrastructure to have. And so at that time, brought on the master planning capability, the demand fulfillment capability, and so forth, which was I2 software at the time. So we've been using what is now JDA for 10 years. Fairchild looks at the JDA Solutions as the infrastructure for tying everything together. So we have a common suite of capabilities. We start with our forecasting, which sales and marketing and product lines all partner with, so that we've got a common view of demand requirements for the company. That then feeds into our overall corporate planning process, our integrated business planning process, and follows through to our daily execution and scheduling. A foundation underneath that is the order fulfillment. So it's the system infrastructure that ties everything together for us. Fairchild, about 3 years ago, brought on the inventory optimizer. And it took us a little while to get that fully integrated into our process, really understand how best to use it and leverage it. But I'd say over the last 2 years, we have really leveraged an advantage. For every single month, every single quarter, we watch very carefully how our inventory is improving. And the quality of our inventory mix, which is measured by how much of our inventory is slow-moving versus high-turning inventory, has improved every single month since we have been using this. Our management of our strategic inventories has improved drastically, such that we have much higher confidence that we've selected the right parts for strategic inventory, and through our scheduling software connected to the inventory optimizer is producing, is making sure we fulfill those strategic buffers and establish them, and they're there when we need them to help smooth the uncertainties of our supply side as well as our demand side. So very, very significant improvements to our inventory performance as a result of Inventory Optimizer. Fairchild Semiconductor, in the semiconductor industry, what it's gone through is a massive dip in 2009 and a just as impressive increase in requirements through 2010. So we had an unprecedented loss of business followed by an unprecedented growth in business. And so the way JDA software has helped us manage through that is by making sure we didn't overcommit ourselves to our customer base using the order management software appropriately, and on the upswing, making sure we were reserving and preserving capacity for the key customers so that we could grow in the manner in which we wanted to grow. The Inventory Optimizer has helped us manage through the downturn and the upturn by giving us great guidance in where we focus our attention for strategic inventory builds, so we build the right stuff at the right times in the right places. And once we've fulfilled that, constantly driving us to clean up our inventory in all the right places so that we end up with the most useful pile of inventory at every major step along the supply chain. And those two systems really helped us get through this cycle, these two extreme cycles. The way we measure performance in Fairchild Semiconductor relative to the inventory performance and our scheduling, we do look at parameters such as our ability to meet our production schedules that are produced by the scheduling software, and that's been very, very high percent hit rate. Very important metric is our delivery performance to our commitments to our customers, and through the downturn and the upturn, it has remained a very solid at the highest level, and right now we're operating at the highest levels we've ever operated at. And at the same time, our inventory, even if it stayed during some periods flat in terms of dollars, the amount of that inventory that is pointing towards high-moving product versus the amount that is pointing to slow-moving has changed dramatically over that time. We also measure it in terms of inventory turns. So you've got your your top-line revenue is changing with time. You want to make sure your inventory turns are on target, and that has been steadily improving through this entire 2 years, and that we are confident that's linked to the Inventory Optimizer capability. The Fairchild Semiconductor experience in JDA goes back a long time, but it goes back a long time before it was called JDA, because it was the I2 portion that is now part of the JDA family. And to a large extent, there's a lot of the same people we're working with today. When the transition took place from just standalone I2 to now JDA, there was some concern. Will it have the same feel? Because we felt we had a really tight partnership with I2. And I'd have to say I'm pleasantly surprised through that whole process that it continues to have the right feel, right level of access, right level of customer engagement and responsiveness. And so I'd say it's been very good.